In this video, we're going to cover the basics of requisition management in Springboard. You can manage requisitions and access requisitions in a number of ways. Firstly, there's obviously the My Jobs dashboard, which gives you a list of all the jobs that you're working on or that you are watching because you've got an interest in. Simply click into one of the jobs to start working on that job. And of course, you can move the jobs around as you wish. The second way to access jobs would be from the quick search. Simply start typing the name of any job that you're working on and you'll get a list of matching jobs. Click on the job reference to dive in to view the candidates that are on that job, or click on the link job to access the job details directly. Next, from the main menu, select Jobs and select either All Jobs to view a list of all the jobs in the system, or My Jobs to focus on just jobs associated with you. Clicking on All Jobs will bring up a list of all the jobs, filtered initially by a set of statuses that can be configured for your site. In this site, we're only viewing approved jobs, but you can always change the filtering list by selecting and changing these filters here. Or in fact, you could remove a given filter just by clicking on the X for a filter in place. And by removing status, you can see that we're now returning all jobs, which includes draft jobs, approved jobs, and any filled jobs that I had. You can further filter by a variety of filters. For example, drill into a particular area of the organization hierarchy and show me all jobs that are in the Engineering Services Division of Supply and Distribution. Click Search to return your search, or I can clear that away. You can also search on other filters, such as based on various dates, on a particular job reference. So again, I can type engineering in here, or if I knew the job reference, I could type the job reference, select one of those and do that search. I can search on a member of my sourcing team, a job type, and I can select multiple, or a recruiter, status, location, or the approver of the job. To create a new job, go to Jobs and select Create Job. The Create Job screen gives you two options: start creating a new job from scratch, or to select an existing job to copy. In this example, I'll open a copy and type electrical and find my electrical engineering job, which I want to copy. And that creates me a copy of the existing electrical engineering job in the same department with any of the fields that I'd already filled in pre-filled. I can make my changes to this and make any changes that I need to job category, etc. Go to the bottom and click Save. If there are any mandatory fields on the screen that have not yet been completed, you'll be warned about that and you can go through and change them. If I jump back to All Jobs and clear my status, I can see my junior electrical engineering position. In addition to creating a new job, your site may be using the Request to Hire or Job Approval Wizard feature within Springboard, where hiring managers or other users within your organization can raise a request for a new position and get it approved. If you're using that, then you'll see those approved positions drop into Springboard once they've finished the approval process, typically in a status of draft. What that means is that the position has been approved, but it is now available for final review by the recruitment team to check all the details of the position, make sure that it's ready for advertising, and then they can move it to a status of approved. If there is a hiring request associated with that position, you'll have a link typically in the header here that gives you access to view the hiring request. Whilst we're focusing on the header, let's take a minute just to look at some of the details that are available to you whilst you're reviewing an approved job. To do that, let's click into a job that has a few candidates on it, for example my engineering manager. And you can see here that we've got a variety of information at a glance that I can see in this mini dashboard. I can see how many candidates are on my job and how many new ones have dropped in. I can see how many requisition notes have been created, and I can click on that for a quick glimpse of the notes against that job. I can see how many ads are live, and if an ad is about to expire within the next few days, I'll receive a little warning here. I can see how many candidates have viewed my ad, how many applicants in total have gone through this position, and how many drafts, so I can get an idea as to whether candidates are starting an application for this job but not completing. When I'm happy with the details of my job, I can click through and update the status of that job to approved, and go down and create a new advertisement for this job. To do that, click on Create Ad. Creating an ad will pull through any details from the job that have been mapped through to a job ad, and you can complete the rest of the job advertisement. That would include selecting a location from the drop-down list, postcode if needed, and any other details pertinent to the role. Select the job category because I didn't select one earlier. Let's go corporate roles, engineering manager, and for this role I haven't filled in a job description yet. So I'll just add a simple one there. Scroll down. The next section allows me to set up some reminder emails. If I wanted to remind all candidates who had not yet submitted, had started but not yet submitted their application, I can set up a reminder to send an email to them, for example, either 3 days before the job ad expires or 3 days after they last saved their draft. Select which email template, and when I save and post that position, we will send an email to candidates who don't submit an application. Further down, here are our sourcing channels, which allows us to post jobs, for example, to Seek, and I can go through and complete the rest of the particulars that Seek requires in order to classify a job ad on the Seek job board, for example, such as classification, salary, and location details. I'll be flagged if I need to add any new jobs. In this instance, this job number already exists, so I'll come up with a new one and submit. Once the job has been submitted, I'm presented with a URL in order to access this job online, and I can either view this job directly to see what it will look like, have a quick look to make sure that I'm happy with that job, or I can copy or share this link directly out to some of my social networks. Incidentally, I can go back and edit this job, and whilst I'm making changes to the job ad, I might not be happy with this job description. I can also preview the job ad directly and see the changes that I've made in real time with it before I've actually submitted the job. I'm happy with those changes, so I'll submit my edits and I'm done. I will now return to the job, and I know that that job ad has been posted, and I can see the number of live job ads has been increased to 2. The next step you might want to do is ensure that a workflow has been associated with this job, and a workflow will define the process steps that candidates must go through to get from shortlisting all the way through to placed, and will also give you access to any automated rules that have been associated with that particular process. Setting up rules is the focus of another video. I can click through to view potential candidates on this role and view the process that has been associated with this job. If I'm not happy with that process or one hasn't been assigned, I can click on either reset or attach workflow from this link here, and that will give me access to all of the processes that have been set up within the system, and I can select a different one, for example my onboarding process, and associate that with this particular job. Or I can create new workflows from here. Setting up workflows is beyond the scope of this video. Please see a different video for administration on how to set up new workflows. If we return to our job search now and quickly do a search on all engineering positions, we'll see that I found my 2 positions within engineering. I can now click through to one of those jobs to view any candidates that may be on the role. Obviously there's none on this role, but up here there's a search results link which allows me to quickly navigate through to any other jobs that are matching the last set of search criteria that I entered. So now I can quickly click through to my engineering manager jobs and back if I need to. What's useful about this is it allows you to quickly navigate through any of the jobs that you're interested in, whether it's my jobs or a particular subset, without needing to constantly jump back to the job screen and start a new search. When I'm done with my job, and that would be when I've placed a candidate, let's place a candidate on this role. I can move back to my job and change the status to filled. Depending on the configuration in your site, there may be some validation that's in place. For example, you can see here, you cannot set the status to filled as there are still 2 new applications, so I'm required to process all of the applications, the candidates that are on this job. So I will move back and reject the 2 final candidates. And now move the role to filled. Notice that there are 3 positions on this role, so depending on your site you may be required to fill 3 positions before you're allowed to set this job to filled. In this case, the job has been filled and any parties involved have been emailed, depending again on the configuration of your site. That concludes a short video on the basics of requisition management. If you would like further details, please contact application support or your account manager.